Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Natalie. Today we're going to be talking about how you can achieve sweat-proof foundation in the summer heat. But before we jump into that, if you guys like content about fashion, beauty, and lifestyle, that's everything that I do here on my channel. So please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I upload future videos. All right, let's jump into this. Okay, so as promised, we are going to be talking about sweat-proof foundation. And if you guys follow these steps that I'm going to show you, your foundation will last you a lot longer, if not for the entire day. I am somebody with oily skin, so this is primarily for girls with oily skin. So I'm always finding different ways to keep my foundation on longer, lasting me through the heat and just this desert heat where the sun is beating down on you, and making sure that my foundation stays put and in place without sweat and oils seeping through into the makeup and moving everything around. So the first thing that we are going to use in order to achieve the look that we want of keeping our foundation flawless throughout the day and sweat proof is I'm going to use a beauty oil. Now there's many different beauty oils available on the market. The one that I'm going to be using is 24 karat advanced gold serum. And this is just a beauty oil that I got on Amazon. I'm almost out of it, so I need to pick up more. But like I said, there's so many different beauty oils out there. And I just like to apply this before I put on my primer and my makeup. And even for somebody who has oily skin, you still want to apply an oil or some kind of moisturizer onto your face, because this is what is going to help put moisture into your face. Because what we're going to be doing is adding some mattifying products on top of this oil. So you do want to make sure that your face isn't too dry. If you have a really dry face, that can make it more difficult to apply your foundation. And when you apply the beauty oil, just make sure that you use upward strokes. And the reason why is because you don't want to use downward strokes, because that's just helping gravity to achieve premature wrinkles, and I know we don't want that. So just make sure that you are using upward strokes. And then what I like to do is just let the beauty oil kind of sit and absorb into my skin. So you're just gonna wait for a little bit. So the next step in this process is we are going to use a primer. And when you think about your face with makeup, you think about, like, if you're gonna paint the walls, you wanna use a primer. It's kind of the same thing with your face. And the primer that I'm going to be using is this Rimmel London Stay Matte Mattifying Makeup Primer. And this stuff works really, really well. You don't need a lot of it. And it's very, very inexpensive, and you can really find it anywhere. What I'm going to do is take this primer, and I'm just going to add just a little dot of it to my finger. I'm going to disperse it onto my fingertips, and then I am going to press it into my skin wherever I know I get oily. And I tend to get very oily in my T-zone. So that is where I am dispersing the primer. Okay, so now that we have our face primed, the next thing that I'm going to do is use a powder. And I know that this kind of seems counterintuitive because we are going to be putting a foundation on top of the powder. But guys, this really, really helps to keep your foundation in place, and it's going to help create that barrier between your skin and your makeup, so that if you're somebody with really oily skin, it's going to help decrease the chances of that oil coming through and just kind of breaking up your makeup. So the powder I'm going to be using is the Long Time No Shine, and this is by Lancome, and it is a translucent powder. It has a little rose on top of the jar. And I am just going to take a fluffy brush And I am going to dump some of the product onto the lid there. It is a loose powder. And I'm going to add that product onto the brush. This stuff kind of gets everywhere. And then I'm going to take a light dusting of that powder and just apply it all over my face. You don't want to go like crazy with the powder because you also don't want to make your foundation difficult to apply. So I just lightly dust it onto my face. I'm gonna do one more layer because, like I said, I'm an oily girl, so I love powder because powder really helps me, especially during the summer months where it gets over 100 degrees here in Arizona. Okay, so I applied my powder. So like I said, this is going to be our barrier between our skin and our makeup. And so in order to kind of make sure that we have that barrier in place and make sure that we have finished everything and set everything, we're going to be using a setting spray. And this is by Mario Badescu. I hope that I'm pronouncing his last name right. But this is a facial spray with aloe, herbs, and rose water. I use this as a setting spray and I've been using it for a very long time. It is very inexpensive. Once again, you can easily find this anywhere. Sometimes I just order this on Amazon. So you just want to make sure that you spray that on your face, and then you want to let it dry down really good. Okay, so now that we have everything set in place and our face is primed and ready for foundation, now we are going to go in with our foundation. And the foundation I am going to be using today is the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin. I absolutely love this foundation. And the way that I apply foundation and the way that I keep my foundation from getting really cakey on my face is I just apply a little bit at a time, because you want to create thin layers on your face and you don't want to waste any product. So I just take a little bit of the foundation and I'll only use like a little dime amount on the back of my hand like that. And then I go in with a damp beauty blender and I just pick up that product from the back of my hand and then I start applying it onto my face. I usually start at my chin and then I gradually go up the face. Just going to apply a little bit more. What I like about doing this is that you can apply as little or as much as you need without really worrying about messing up the foundation or applying too much foundation at once and then you have like this big mess all over your face. I also, when I apply my foundation, I try to get it like towards the back of my ears. It's gonna make my earring come out. I try to get it towards the back of my ears, down my neck. But I try to avoid the hairline because I don't want makeup caking into my hairline. And when you're doing your foundation, you want to make sure that you sit here for a good little bit and just blend everything out so that your foundation looks more like your skin and not just cosmetic product just kind of sitting on your face. Okay, so I think that that's good enough with the foundation. Now I am going to go in with my concealer, and I'm just going to apply that to my under eye area. And I also have a technique that you can use for concealer, which I will show you guys, which will help prevent the concealer from settling into fine lines if you have them underneath your under eyes. So the way that I do concealer is, once again, I don't apply a lot of concealer because you don't want it to be super cakey and end up accentuating all of your flaws underneath your eyes. So I just apply a little bit at a time. So I'll just take like 3 dabs, and then I buff it out with my beauty blender. Okay, so now that we have our concealer on and kind of blended into our face, it really brightened up my under eye there. But the way that I'm going to show you how you can prevent your concealer from creasing into your under eyes is I'm going to take some of my setting spray, and I am going to set that concealer on my face. Just make sure that everything is really in there. Okay, so I'm going to take that same setting spray and just set my face with it. And once again, same thing, you kind of want to let it dry down a little bit and make sure that it's absorbing into your skin. But what I like to do is I either take my ring fingers and I just lightly dab underneath my under eye, or you can take your beauty blender and do the same thing and just really help that setting spray set onto your concealer. Make sure that your setting spray is completely dry. And then when you're done with that, if you want to make it so that your concealer is not settling into your fine lines, I go in with the Laura Mercier Secret Blurring Powder for the under eyes. This is how it looks. And I'm just going to take a little brush and I dip it in there, get some product on there. And then I'm going to apply this blurring powder onto my under eyes. And if you use this technique, it will really help your concealer last. And you will notice that it doesn't settle into fine lines. I like to apply a lot of this stuff because, like I said before, I like a very bright under eye. I also like to apply it on the forehead a little bit, down the ridge of my nose, and I like to apply it on my lower jaw. Any of the points of my face that I just want to make a little more pronounced, the high points of my face. Okay guys, so now that that is all done, I'm going to apply the rest of my makeup off camera, and then I'm going to show you guys the final results. All right, you guys, so I just went off camera and I applied my makeup no different than I normally would any other day. But I know now if I wanted to go out and I wanted to run some errands, I wouldn't have to worry about my foundation melting off my face and getting all disgusting by the end of the day, because I know that I created that barrier. So that barrier with the primer and the powders and the setting spray that we did, that all helps to prevent your oils from seeping through to your makeup and kind of displacing the makeup all over the place, where your makeup ends up looking kind of patchy and greasy by the end of the day. So it really, really does help with that, and you guys are going to get a longer wear time out of your foundation. If you guys like this video, please make sure to give me a thumbs up. I appreciate every single one of you who watch my channel. Please make sure, if you haven't yet, to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I upload future content. And until the next time, guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye.